Welcome back, everyone, to episode 93 of the Midnight Entrepreneur, week 7 or 8 of me riffing these intros. Honestly, probably not even 7 or 8 weeks, but we're here.
I was going to say, that seems a little steep.
Yeah, I just wanted to give myself a little bit more credit. As you hear there on the other side,
you should give yourself less
Tyler
credit.
Simmons. Why not?
You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, I wouldn't say they're great. That's why.
Yeah, that's fair. I like to throw it in there. See, the people are probably like, oh my gosh, what's coming this week?
Right. Yeah. They don't know. It's not scripted anymore.
It's probably the favorite part of their show now. As you guys can hear on the other side of the episode, my co-host Tyler Sinnen. Tyler, good to have you on the show, episode 93. Before we get into actually talking about what's going on, I want to say if you guys are listening, if you guys are watching, if you could leave us a rating, a review, a thumbs up, send it to a friend, whatever you want to do, show us some love. We're not asking for anything. We're not trying to sell you anything. And we'd just really appreciate the support. If not, then just enjoy the show without doing that. And we also don't care about that either. So, Tyler, what is going on?
Not too much, Easton. We just wrapped up a call. I've been extremely tired today, though. I had to take a quick power nap. I hate to say it, but I had to do it. I was falling asleep at my computer, and it's like the first time I was falling asleep while sitting at my desk in a long time. And I'm like, this is not normal. So I had to take a quick power nap before the call, and I thought the call went pretty good.
So how did the call go? I haven't taken a nap in quite some time, but sometimes you need your power nap. Was it like an hour or was it like 15 minutes?
Oh, no. It was like 10, 15 minutes, just quick.
There you go.
Just get it in, get it done, just recharge a little bit. And it's crazy what a 10 to 15 minute nap can do to you. Hopefully it doesn't ruin my sleep tonight, but we'll see how it goes.
I wonder what the stigma is around taking a quick nap like that, because honestly, if it makes you more productive, like even right now, if I was like super tired and I couldn't work, I should just lay on my office floor and take a quick 15-minute nap. If it's going to make you more productive, why not?
Yeah, exactly. You should get a little blow-up mattress in there so you can do it whenever, or maybe you end up staying the night because you got a late night working and you're like, I don't feel like driving home. Maybe it's a snowy night there in Minot and you're just like, I'm just going to stay here tonight. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but for me, mainly is what I've found is if I ever nap, I sleep extremely poorly at night. So that's why I try to avoid it to the best I can. But recently with training and like doing an activity or exercise during midday, it helps wake me up a lot. But like today I was just out of it. I don't know what it was. My what I said to you is I had coffee a lot later than I allow myself. I had one at like noon and then I had a second around 3 or 4. So I think that's what did it to me, and I just didn't sleep well.
Yeah, the caffeine will get you. When you have it late in the day, it'll definitely get you. This bubbler has caffeine in it, but it's only like 60 grams, which is not horrible.
That's like one coffee.
It's way better than the energy drinks I was drinking that at 200 or 300, I'll say that.
Yeah, the Ghosts. Yeah, I gave that up too, and I gave up pre-workout as well, trying to get as natural as possible.
Yeah, I've been off the energy drinks, and honestly, I don't know if I can tell a difference, but it mentally feels better knowing that I'm not drinking them.
Your bank account probably notices a little bit of a difference.
Nah, I find other places to spend it.
Yeah, it gets spent elsewhere. So the call went pretty good. I haven't updated you anything, and this is kind of, I don't know if you do this stuff or you know anyone. He is going to be looking for a new logo and a designer. So I was like, yeah, I'm probably not the best guy for that. And I have a couple people that I might be able to ask. So I don't know if you do that. But yeah, I didn't even have to sell anything. It was like, I'm doing this no matter what. And this website, I can send it to you after. Like, no offense to him, he says the same thing. It's like from the 1900s. And it just like, it's rough. So I got to do like some digging to figure out where everything's like located, hosted at, and do a bunch of research there to try and figure that stuff out. And then once that's figured out, basically doing the exact same thing that I did for that client that I had. And it's just his brother.
It's sometimes crazy to see those old websites. It's like, how have you been living in 2024 with this website?
Well, they aren't I don't think they're a business. They're a grant foundation. So they just give out grants to, yeah. I mean, for them, it gets the job done. All they really need is a website to get their name out there and then have people know how to actually apply for their grants. So one good thing he mentioned So it's his brother, but his brother doesn't want to do any of this stuff or be involved with it. So he stepped in, and then I was talking with him, and that's the guy that I did the website for. And he was saying that he's been getting a lot of grant applications for his, and so they both have two separate foundations that they have grants for. And he was saying that he was getting a lot of grants, a lot of people coming in, and he's starting to have to say no, which is a good sign for him. So that's really nice to hear. And I was just kind of asking him about how his website, how everything's going. He's like, yeah, it's going really good, having to say no to a few people. So
was he in the call too?
Yeah, it was just me and him.
Okay. But the brother wasn't in the call.
Yeah, brother's not there. So it's like I have to go through. So Mike's the guy that I made his website for originally, and then his brother. So I basically talked to Mike. Mike's gonna relay all the information, ask questions, collect everything from his brother, and then it's gonna come back to Mike, come back to me. So there's a little bit, so that might put a damper in everything and slow the process up and everything. But yeah, his brother just doesn't want to be involved or anything.
Oh, so the guy that doesn't want to be involved is the new client.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's really interesting. Little middleman action, but I mean, that's how they want to do it. Yeah, customer's always right. That's what they say. Yeah.
So it makes it easy, and like he came in like fully expecting like me to do this website. Like we just went straight into it. I asked him a little bit about his website, how it's doing, and then we went straight into it. Collected as much information as possible. Got questions for him, for questions answered, questions for his brother. But it was good overall, and also might have to find a logo designer. And he's like, yeah, I'd rather have you find someone for me, just because of like the consistency and like what I don't know if it was the mastermind I was telling you about it or last call, but he's just had a lot of issues in the past where just stuff falling through the cracks, and like he doesn't want to have to deal with that. And like that's the one thing that he liked about me is like I was there, I'm responsive, and like if he has questions, if I'm there for him. So like that's one issue that he had. So that's kind of like why he wants me to find a designer for him. So I don't know if you do that or if you know anyone, but I thought I would swing that your way.
I have 3 people that I always recommend. One's a male that did my logo when I was up in Canada. He's always the first person I send people just because loyal like that, and he did a good job for me, so I was giving him the first amount of work. And then 2 other female graphic designers that I've worked with in the past, and they've done some pretty good logos too. And then usually I just send those over, and then you can kind of choose. But yeah, I can shoot those over to you.
Yeah,
I trust
it's an
them
interesting. All. Yeah, cool. So he like joked to me about it on the call, and I didn't really hear him, and I just kind of like, haha, yeah. And then he's like, no, I'm just kidding, because like what it is an archaeology and paleontology grant foundation, and I think he said we're gonna put a man cave caveman man cave we're gonna put, I had a client's website I was just working on that they had a man cave bathroom. He's like, yeah, we're just gonna put a caveman on the back of like a dinosaur or something like that, and we'll send it to him. And I didn't really hear him, and I was just like, yeah. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. And I just completely missed it. So he said it again later on the call, and then he's like, maybe I'll just like create like an AI image of that and send it to him and be like, this is what we got, just to try and kind of kick him in the ass to be like, okay, we got to get shit going here. So yeah. It's kind of funny.
It's the worst, and I do that all the time too. When you don't hear something and then you just play along, and it's like it almost makes it 10 times worse. Whereas I've started to learn recently, it's like just ask, be like, what did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear you. And then you can at least be a part of it. But when you try to play it off, it always seems like it gets amplified. Like, oh no, they're gonna keep talking about this, and I'm still not gonna know.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. It does make sense to just ask it. Like it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's always the worst. So we'll go to updates on your end, Tyler. Couple updates for me here. We are closing jobs left and right. It's a good problem to have. Booming. It's a good problem to have. But yeah, been on a lot of calls lately, sending a lot of invoices lately. It's funny, we had one project come up and they're like, yeah, we want to run with this. And I said, cool. And they immediately were like, can we pay the whole thing right away? This needs to be paid before the end of the fiscal year, which is the end of June. And I'll never say no to that. So that was kind of funny. I'm like, yep, we could definitely accommodate. So those are always the best jobs when everything's just paid in full right up front.
Yeah, that's always really nice. And that's the dream client right there.
Yeah, exactly. If we could get more of those, we'd be sitting pretty. Another update: we're working with an agency here on a project, and we had a call. And the one thing I'm learning is that it's kind of messy when you work with agencies. Like the communication is off, and deadlines seem like everything's rushed, and the process is rushed, and there's so many people where I'm starting to see that hole in the market. I know we've talked about it before, where I want to position myself more so as the marketing partner and really fill that gap of the agency that is operating properly and that is feedback is on time and everyone has a good experience, because I've never really had a great experience working with an agency. And of course, I'm working on the vendor side, not on the client side, but I can't imagine that it's a complete 180 from what the client is experiencing to what the vendors are experiencing as well.
So you're hiring an ad agency to accommodate add-on services for what you provide.
Nope. So the ad agency is hiring us to accommodate their client's need for video production.
Oh, so they're white labeling you.
Yes. And a lot of
sweet.
agencies, of course, they do this all the time, where they just say, bid on this project, and then they work with whatever bid they want to take. Because a lot of agencies don't shoot video in-house. So it's pretty standard, but I do think that the process, and maybe it's different on the client side, but the process of the agency working with us as a vendor is sometimes messy. Sometimes it's just difficult to get the right information, and there's too many cooks in the kitchen, they say. So I do see that hole in the market where if you can be competitive and make sure that the experience all around is awesome. And I do think it comes from your processes. What are your processes, and sticking by those? I think the more you can stick by those processes, the more you can replicate that experience, and then it makes it much easier for it to be a good experience.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I started out with New Frame, I tried to find like marketing companies that didn't offer Google. Is that your chair?
Is it squeaking a little bit? Yeah, it must be. I'll lower it. Well, it's like the arm is like, there we go. The arm is just barely high enough to hit the little the desktop adjuster. There we go. Might be a little bit low. I have to.
You need a new chair. You need this hag that I got.
I know.
Yeah,
Herman
so
Miller.
when I started out with New Frame, that's what I decided to do with marketing companies is I would just reach out to them if they didn't offer Google ad services. And I'm like, hey, I see you guys don't offer Google ad services. I can be your Google ad guy. And if you have any clients that might want it, or you have any recommendations, and like you can just take like a cut of it, and then I'll do all the Google ads, and you don't got to hire someone, or you don't got to train someone. It's just like I handle all of that for you, and didn't have any luck there, but that's pretty interesting that you're doing that. I feel like that's a good partnership for you to have.
Great partnership. It's just, working with them is sometimes a hassle. Whereas if you can land that client yourself, it's not like they're doing anything special where, they're not the ones, they're not running paid media or anything. It's literally just a middleman to be like, oh, they want video. They come to the ad agency. They probably add a fee on to the estimate we send them, and then that's that. So they come up with the scripting and stuff, so they just become a pre-production partner. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I'll never complain about getting work from an agency, but it is sometimes more difficult than if you work directly with the client.
Yeah, I feel like if they're giving you business, I can't really complain about that. But
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
Last update I got for you, Tyler. Quick question for you. So onboarding, obviously, I've talked about VidLead on here, which is just a white labeled software, go high level or high level. And it's a little bit intricate to get used to. It probably takes a little bit more upfront work to learn, but I think long term, it is better for operations. And once you get the hang of it, it's more of a complete software. So my thoughts are, do you think when you're onboarding people, and especially knowing that, in your 9 to 5, you guys do a lot of onboarding, I assume, is it better to put the work in up front to have them maybe learn a more difficult system for better long-term results? Or is it better to just stick to a system that might be simpler for people to get used to?
Are they going to be eventually using the harder system?
Yeah, I would think so.
Because if they are, I would say just throw them in there.
Yeah.
And let them learn. I think that comes back to processes and how you're able to train them. And I think that's what we're trying to do a lot with our onboarding is just helping them like record videos, record looms. I know you mentioned Zoom's coming out with their own recording thing to replace Loom, but I think you got to throw them in there, and it sucks at first, but you're going to eventually get used to it if you stick to it and you just go through it. I know for me, a lot of the stuff that we use at work, I wasn't told about, and then I just didn't have the habit of using it. And when it came time and people found out, they're like, you're not using that? You got to use it. You have to do this. You have to do that. I wasn't used to it, so it wasn't a habit for me. So I think building that habit right from the start is extremely important, because then they actually get used to it. And it's like, now it's like second nature by the time they actually do get there. Whereas like they're going to be learning like the simple system, and then they're going to have the habit built around that, and they're going to be used to it. And then eventually they're just going to have to switch to the other one, but they're not going to be used to it. So it's going to be like learning a whole new program twice. So
it's like you have to onboard them twice.
Exactly. So I think you just got to roll with it. And first week, month, it's going to suck, but long term, as long as he stays there and doesn't quit after the summer, I think it's well worth it. Or even future employees.
Yeah, that's not the issue we're having there. It's the other, it's the other aspect of it. But yeah,
being hard.
No, we could talk about it off camera.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the updates. That's the updates I got on my end. Things are going well for both me and Tyler, so it's good to hear. And we're gonna keep updating you guys every single week. 93
Onward
weeks, except for one. That's what we keep saying. All right, so let's get into this week's. Yeah, never forget. It's like 9/11. Let's get into this week's topic, and we're going to be talking about being unique in the marketplace, and especially with your business. I think it's super important these days, especially in the digital landscape. The competition pool is much larger. There's a lot more people out there doing what you're trying to do. There's a lot more noise. So to be successful, you really need to be unique. You can't just be copying what other people are doing and hopefully it works. Unless you have a crazy good personality, then you might be able to, pull a couple ideas from other people and make it successful, but it's difficult.
Wouldn't you say that's being unique though?
Your personality?
Mm-hmm. If you said you like you said, you have a crazy good personality or whatever it is.
It could work, yeah. I don't know if it's super unique. Your personality is unique, but I picture it as almost to the point of, let's say, Tyler, you have a good personality, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to start a show where I interview celebrities and we eat really hot wings. Right? So now you're just copying Chris Evans' Hot Ones. And
I don't think it's Chris Evans, but
something Evans. It's something. Chris Evans.
I don't know what it is. Chris Evans is
Captain America.
Is Captain America. Yeah.
It is an Evans.
I know what you're talking about though.
Mr. Evans. But yeah, in that point, the show might be good because you have a good personality, but then you're just copying someone else's thing. So, and you really have to rely on your personality. If you think you have a good personality and you don't, then it's really going to be a disaster.
I think it goes back, like another similar scenario would be, I think her name was Bobby. Do you remember her? Where she would like interview famous people?
Olthoff, Bobby Olthoff.
Yeah. Yeah, she would interview like famous people, and she just had like that. I'm pretty sure it was a character, but she was just like a really awkward, straight face, dry humor person, and like that was really unique. And I think it's very similar with Sketch as well, because Sketch has his own personal branding, I guess you could call it, where he's a mixture of, what is it? It's Trump and
Morty from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty. So he's got his own character. So it's like these people are becoming characters to be unique in the marketplace, which is interesting.
And it
seems like a route.
And that's okay. And that's where personality shines through. And they are taking their personality as their uniqueness. Like, use Sketch, for example. There's a ton of streamers. You're not being unique by streaming video games. There's millions out there. But his personality adds a unique flavor to it. Just like the broad generalization of, okay, I'm going to interview people. Okay, that's not unique, but the way that you're interviewing people by being awkward and dry comedy, that is unique. So it's okay to take ideas from people and to do something similar. as long as you're adding your unique spin on it. I think if you're doing, okay, we're going to eat hot wings and interview people, that's a complete ripoff. But that is, I just Googled his name. His name is Sean Evans. That's Sean Evans' unique part is he says, I'm going to do the interviews, but I'm going to make him eat hot wings. So that's his unique part of it. So yeah, as long as you can throw your own unique spin on it, I think you're definitely going to be way more successful.
Where this idea came from and stemmed from was the speed tour guy, which is in real estate. Now, I've always thought about this on my runs because I'm always passing by them. But real estate signs of like, why? Like, it's always the exact same thing. What if you tried to be
stupid?
unique?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like they got their face on it. It's like, you think about it, it's like, do I really care about what you look like? Maybe some people do. But wouldn't you want to be different and do something else and stand out a little bit more? And I've always thought about that. Just kind of like when you first started talking about being unique, it like popped in my head. I'm like, man, I'm always passing by these signs and I've always thought about it, but like I never came up with like a good solution because I'm pretty sure today when I was biking, I went by a real estate sign and I don't think it was, I think it was a real estate sign. And this is the issue because it's quote unquote unique. It didn't have the face. It didn't have the typical branding. And it like made me look and it was like, was that a real estate sign? Was the house for sale? And I wasn't sure. So it's like when you're being unique, you got to be a little bit careful because it's like what people are used to. It's like you're going to be throwing them off and it might make them look and it's like, oh, what was that? And they might not know like, oh, the house was for sale and then it might confuse them.
It's just like a hook when you're creating a piece of social media content, whatever it is. That first 3 seconds, that's your real estate sign. If somebody drives past and they see another generic square sign that says whatever realty, call Jen Johnson at 123-4567 dot whatever. That's it's just going to keep people. It's just like a bad hook on social media. But if you drive past it and this sign is in the shape of an ass or something like that, people are going to be like, what did I just drive by? What was that? Or, so I think, adding some uniqueness there would be cool. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, you also see like the billboards. They try and do like unique stuff. I saw one. It was like upside down, and then like everything's like upside down, and then you're like trying to read it, and then it's like at the end of it, it's like, why are you still reading this or something like that? It was just like trying to be unique, and like I know with billboards, like what is it where it's like you become blind to it because you see it so often. So it's like, whatever that's called. And then that could be the same thing with like the real estate signs or the billboards where it's like you see it so often you just like block it out.
I'm always fascinated by billboards. Every time I drive past one, I notice them because I'm in the marketing world, but I'm always trying to think of like what would be a cool thing to put on a billboard that would really make people stop. Like I think I hate the billboards that have a ton of information. It's got a picture and it's got a list of all the things we do and we're a personal insurance lawyer and we do this, this, and this, and this is the awards we have. Like that's not for the billboard. You have to put something on a billboard. Again, that's unique. I always go, I don't know if you've seen this show, Dave, like Lil Dicky show. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
So he came out with, it was an album. He was promoting his new album and the album was named Penith, Penith.
I think I heard about it.
What he did was he stood on the billboard naked. Well, he had a little bit of clothes on, and he stood where the T would be with his arms out like this. So that it said Penith, and he was up there. Obviously, it was for the TV show. I don't think he did it in real life, but that would be something unique where people would look and they'd be like, "What the heck? There's a guy up there." So even if you were to
guerrilla marketing,
imprint that on the billboard. Like he wasn't actually standing there, but you put a picture of his body there instead of a T. I guarantee that would get people to Google more of what is Penith rather than Lil Dicky's new album coming out on July 28th. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense. And it you saying that makes me think of like guerrilla marketing where I forget who it is or what it is, but I've seen different people, they'll dress up in like a costume and then it'll be on like World or Tour de France or something like that, and they'll just be like running behind the people on the bikes and they got this massive costume on and it's just like kind of guerrilla marketing. It's like getting any airtime that you can. So it's just trying to think of different ideas and trying to be unique to stand out there.
Yeah, and one thing that, Tyler talked about the speed guy and we're going to talk about that. One thing we skipped over that I want to mention is all of these examples we're giving are nationwide examples. This doesn't mean you need to be nationwide unique, where it's like, oh, how am I going to compete with Apple? Like, they're so unique, they're doing this. Or, how am I going to compete with Lululemon, like my clothing company, compared to them? I think you just have to make sure that you're unique in your own market. Who are your direct competitors? Look at your niche market that you're in, and if you can be unique nationwide, that's even better. But I wouldn't stress yourself out about, oh, globally I need to compete with these big dogs until you get to that point.
Yeah, definitely. I I have notes later on, but like copying what the big dogs do, I think you can do because like they're there for a reason. But at the same time, they're probably like 10 steps ahead of you because they're already planning their next move and you don't know what that next move is going to be. So it's like, I'm going to be skipping a lot here, but everyone copied the big guys, and the big guys was like Alex Hormozy. So everyone was copying his reels and doing like that same thing. So it's like when you're scrolling through Instagram, you're seeing this like flash, 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 and all this stuff like just changing. And what was it called? It was like an attention, because there's also something similar with YouTube where it's like, I want 10 different changes within like 5 seconds of the video. And it's like the intention span thing, whatever it is. So it's like all these people are trying to copy him. And when he stops changing it, and then like, what are you going to do? It's like, he's already like, he's planning his next like 30 moves. You don't know what his next 30 moves are. And one YouTube video that I saw like 5 different times, it was how YouTube changed my life with under 500 subs. And they just kept blowing up, and it just didn't make sense to me because like, and then everyone just started copying it and everyone was starting to do it. And I was just like, maybe I should do it. And then like, I don't know.
People follow trends for sure. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah. I think it's good to do that because I mean, you look at TikTok, you'll see a lot of people doing the trends. Some blow up, some don't. You don't really know. I think the ones that do blow up are because they have that unique aspect to them.
I 100% agree. And the more, God, I'm struggling with the word unique. The more unique you can be, the better off you're going to be. So let's move on to a point where, okay, you found your unique thing. If we're using the speed tour guy, if you guys haven't seen those videos, basically this younger dude, he's probably in his 20s. He will run through a house that he is listed for sale, and he will just give you a quick 1-minute rundown of the house. And he makes jokes while he's doing it. He sits funny on the toilet. He screams at you from the garage. He looks out the window in weird poses. And it's funny. It's unique. For years and years, realtors have been doing the same exact thing, showing houses, especially in videos. Mm-hmm. They'll say, this is the master bedroom.
This
and
is
it's
a spacious
with a trade ceiling and blah, blah, blah. It's boring, right? We don't give a shit.
Yeah,
so we've become so accustomed to these videos and this style that it falls on deaf ears. Whereas if you can bring a unique thing in, like this guy did with speed tours, you start to get people's attention. I think he brought in so much attention that some of the realtors he was working with actually made him take down some of the videos. So I think that's just a bunch of boomers that are jealous. But the one issue Tyler and I wanted to focus on here, and we were talking about this before the show, is he's done it so much now that it's almost starting to become a little bit redundant. So once you do find your unique thing, don't just be happy with that. Always be iterating. Always make sure that content stays fresh. Always make sure that idea stays fresh. Even if you're not switching up the whole entire thing, add a little bit of spice here, a little bit of something over here. If we use the wing example, Hot Ones, when Sean Evans is interviewing people, maybe he brings in a new sauce, or maybe he brings in a different kind of chicken wing, or maybe he wears costumes while he's doing the interviews. I know Joe Rogan, when he interviewed Duncan Trussell, every single time they do an interview, they're always wearing a costume. So that's a little bit of uniqueness. It's like, oh gosh, I didn't know, why are they wearing robot costumes, or why are they wearing this crazy mask? So don't be happy. Obviously, if you're being unique, that's awesome, but don't be satisfied with that.
Never want to be satisfied. I think similar to like what you were saying with the speed tour guy is just, I think at the same time we realized like maybe the first time we watched it was like, this is funny. This is funny. This is unique. This is different. And then once we started to like see it more often, it's like, is it really funny, or is it just kind of like immature? And it's like, maybe it's like we're changing a little bit because I don't know. At the same time, like what you were saying, it did get redundant. He was doing the same stuff over and over again. And it's like, okay, we're just going to see the house. He's going to do the pose outside the window. He's going to sit on the toilet funny. You can already really predict everything. And it's like, he always closes the door because he's going to be going into the room and be preparing himself to do whatever pose it's going to be. So yeah, it makes you think like you always got to be like iterating and changing it and making sure like you're staying like unique and different and top of like, I mean,
and it's almost good
with what you're doing.
It's almost good if you, what am I getting a notification there? Microphone muted. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
No, you can't hear me at all.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh,
I must have muted you somehow. It popped up, said microphone muted. But it goes back to maybe he needs to take it more broad. We should be on this guy's marketing team. He should take more broad where his thing is just unique tours. He does the tours a different way. So, you know, speed tour could be a part of that. Maybe he can do one that's like a super quiet one where like he whispers the whole time. Like he whispers into the camera and then he walks in, he whispers in. The next one, he can do it as like a French aristocrat where he's walking around in a suit and tie and he talks like that. And the next one he does, in swim trunks or whatever it is, he can do a bunch of crazy different tours because I think that would keep the uniqueness fresh where every single time someone watches a video, they're like, what's this tour going to be about, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's so many of the people that we're seeing it is probably not in his market. So it's tough because you'll see comments will be like, if I lived here, I would use this guy to sell my house or buy my house. So it's like you're reaching a lot of people that aren't in actually your audience. And the one video that I didn't send you, but I showed you a little snippet of what I sent to my client is what Alex likes to say about social media is you're reaching a very global market and you use it as a higher conversion rate tool because you're going to be reaching so many different people. So when people come to, say, your website or they find you, they got referred to you, they go to your Instagram, they go to your TikTok, they see what you do, what your work is. So it's more of like, okay, they already built that trust and now they're learning more about you, what you do, how you do it. So it helps conversion rates.
Yeah, I was thinking about something else. I wasn't... I'm sorry. I really just.
What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about filming stuff. I'm like, be unique. It'd be awesome if you filmed everything, right? And then I just went into a rabbit hole. It'd be cool if you could have a camera.
Find a D-Rock.
Well, I started to think about, D-Rock would be great, right? And if you want to go back to what we were saying, we can after. But it'd be cool. I was thinking about like security cameras. The security camera I have in my house, once somebody's near it, it turns on, starts recording. Right, so I always have everything captured. Or if you could create some sort of cinema camera like that, where I could set it up in the corner of my office, and then I always, if I'm like, hey, I want to quick document what I'm doing or talk about something, I can go over it and maybe wave in front of it or something, and it starts recording, and then I can quickly document it.
Business idea.
Yeah, that might be unique right there. Business idea. I'll talk about that next week.
Maybe you should start doing something like what Gary does where it's like the day in the life and you just have like a bunch of cameras set up in your office and then you're able to like live stream and maybe you can just have like different live streams throughout the day and maybe it's like video podcast through or 101 at 9 a.m. or whatever. It's like, and now it's like chill time where you're working, grinding and getting stuff done. I don't know. I always thought that would be pretty cool.
God, this camera looks like I'm like falling under my chair. I wonder if you can live stream to I'd like to live stream it so you don't have to record the data and then you just pull it. So like I live stream everything in the office today and then I could just pull that clip, right? Where I don't want to record and have 500 gigabytes, but if I could set up a camera in every single room and then I just live stream it to a private location where the public can't see it, I can then chop it up and put it into like a YouTube video,
Why don't?
Because I'm thinking live stream, like if I have a call or something and there's sensitive information.
You can just mute it. That's what Gary does.
Yeah, but his is post.
What?
Does he mute it on the live stream?
Yeah.
Well, how's he doing that? Someone else has got to be doing that, right?
There's probably a button that you can hit where it's just like mute audio.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee there is.
Yeah. But what if it's something in conversation that comes up where it's like, you don't see it coming? That's the only issue I could see.
like you would want to use that for like pulling for a piece of content or something like that?
Yeah, I'd love to pull a piece of content where, maybe I film one of our calls. I'm on a call and we're talking about this, but then it brings up something like maybe they're talking about their competitor or they're talking about some secret data they have about this, or I'm just making stuff up, but I wouldn't want that to be on the live stream. Whereas if I posted that as a quick 60-second clip, I can always just bleep it out and post.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know.
We'll see. I think I want to order. We're getting off topic here. Be unique, but I want to order some sort of. This is a documentation podcast here, guys. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying it. But this is the live thought process me and Tyler go through when we're thinking of things to do. I want to buy like a super small camera, just a quick one that I can just pop up and hit record, like almost like a point and shoot.
Do it.
I suppose you could just do your iPhone, but I always feel like my iPhone footage never actually gets to my computer.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good with that, but this past week I haven't because just been so busy because of like always documenting my Ironman training. So it makes it really easy to just like at the end of the day or whenever I'm done my training, it's like throw it on the computer, throw it on my external, and I'm all set. So
I'm gonna be better
I'm
at
pretty
that.
good at that. You muted yourself. You got to stop hitting your.
I didn't even hit it though. It's mute. Why did
you
it
did,
mute
bro.
so late?
I watch you. I'm like, it's probably gonna be muted. What?
I hit this ear and it muted like 30 seconds later.
If you say so.
That's crazy.
You want to move on to personal examples?
Yeah. Because
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I touched it there. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
It's this
man,
year.
you're just playing with it. But
Whatever.
I think one of the personal examples that we have for being unique is I thought of this like right before we started is with this podcast where we do have the business ideas, and when we do blow up, these business ideas are going to be a massive hit. Like people are going to like stealing these ideas left and right.
You're gonna be sucking these ideas out of this podcast. It's gonna be ridiculous.
They're going to be going back through all 93 episodes, and they're going to be looking at the ideas and like, man, this is a great idea. I'm going to take this gas idea where you take your subscription base and we're going to roll with it.
Our retention time on the last 5 minutes of every episode is going to be crazy.
It's just going to be skipped all the way to the end.
Yeah, it's like why are people starting at 46 minutes every time they watch this episode?
Just gathering the information.
Hey, the gold is in the middle of the podcast. So you listening right now, 38 minutes in, you guys are getting the real gold about us arguing about headphone muting. That's where the hits are right there.
Click and mute. I don't know how it like it's got to be one side because I'm pretty sure one ends the call.
Well,
so
dude, I can't wear these headphones anymore. It hurts my ears so damn bad.
Are they the pros?
Yeah, but like when I talk, it's like, God damn, it's hurting my left ear so bad. It's fine if I'm just sitting here listening to music, but
yeah, I guess you got to use the over-ear headphones.
Yeah, they're dead right now. That's why I'm using these. But that's besides the point. A couple more personal examples we have. Tyler, maybe you throw it over your Marketing Lab podcast. That's a little unique.
Yeah, I started out doing it, and then I was consistent with it. I think I got maybe 10-ish episodes in, and then I just fell off the horse. But I was really, I would say, unique with it. At first, I was like hesitant to do it. I was like, should I do this? And it's like, it made sense with the branding since it's called the Marketing Lab. So it's like, you might be in the lab. And I thought about getting goggles, but I just got a lab coat and I would wear that for every episode because it's kind of like Marketing Lab. So I would always do that for my reels, which I thought was pretty unique and made me stand out a little bit. And I think my topics at the same time too were a little bit different than what you typically saw with marketing podcasts, where they just kind of talked about current events, what's going on, their thoughts. Where with me, I actually did case studies, and that was a little bit different, where I took, say, like a Super Bowl ad, and I was like, what made this Super Bowl ad good? What made it bad? And then I just kind of dissected the actual information from it. So in that regard, I would say I did something a little unique with my approach to podcasting.
I think it's a really good idea. I think case studies are fantastic. And I haven't seen many podcasts like that where they are talking about case studies. So I remember when you started that, I was like, that's a good idea. Because I would love a podcast, and I listen to all of them. I would love a podcast where they did go over case studies. Like if you had a weekly case study where it's like, oh, we just analyzed Nike's, $1 million ad campaign or whatever it is, that'd be super cool.
I've been seeing one guy on Instagram doing that. I don't know if I've sent any to you, but he kind of reviews different people's social media platforms and how they advertise, how they market. And he's like, this is a bad example. This is a good example. This is what they're doing bad. This is what they're doing good. And he just goes over it really quickly on a high level, like 5 different accounts. And it'll be like, this is running shoes bad edition, or this is running shoes. We're going to break them down, and it'll be like Saucony, New Balance, Adidas, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And he just kind of breaks down their account. So somewhat similar, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. I can maybe find if I see any, but I don't know if I will.
There's your hole in the market, Tyler. You got to get back on the saddle with the old case studies.
Yeah, I do. I got to find more time in the day.
Right? After the Ironman. Talk to you then.
Yep. Hopefully.
I know you talked about, copying, and we skipped ahead a little bit, but copying is a big issue. I mean, you don't want to do what other people are doing. Tyler talked about Alex Hormozy's reels. Everybody started doing that. Now he's obviously on to something else. He's still doing them, but he's reiterating all the time. Indian editors was a big thing. I was on that trend. Everyone was hiring these editors from India and the Philippines, and they were doing the same exact thing, whereas it just got oversaturated, and you can't do that. I think one of the big ones is YouTube tutorials. There are so many videos out there that how do I export in Final Cut Pro, or how do I create a resume, whatever it might be. There's so many different tutorials that accomplish the same exact thing, where I think we're at the point where if you're going to teach something new on YouTube, only teach it if you have a unique way of doing it. If there's a different way that you can make it more efficient, or you do it because it's better for the client, or whatever that might be. I cannot stand when content accomplishes the same exact thing on YouTube, where it's like, why are there 500 tutorials on how to export on Final Cut Pro, right? It drives me nuts.
Well, you got to start somewhere, and then maybe it's like a whole playlist, and then they go through it from beginning to end. So I don't know.
Find a unique way. That's all I'm trying to say. I just can't do it. Can't do it anymore, guys.
Makes sense. Yeah, I did that too. I was doing that.
So did I.
When I originally,
so did I.
Yeah. When I started my YouTube channel, I was like, all right, I'm going to do Premiere tutorials and all that stuff. And I wouldn't say I was a pro or anything. And like, there's so many more people that are out there that are like much better. And I think that it even like goes to show you don't have to be the best, because look at like Peter McKinnon. I wouldn't say he's the best at Premiere or he's the best at After Effects. He knows a lot of good stuff and he's good at what he does, but he has the uniqueness. He has the personality. He has everything that goes along with it. And that's why everyone goes to him for the YouTube tutorials on Premiere or After Effects, Photoshop, whatever it might be. Because like, I don't know if you saw the Indian guy with the massive unibrow. He's definitely the best. He knows all that shit.
Yeah. Usually,
you know what I'm talking about?
Usually, yeah. It's the ones overseas, man. They know everything so much better than we do. But I think it stems from, we see the success that they're having doing it. Like Peter McKinnon, I watched every single one of his videos. I saw the success that he was having by creating Premiere tutorials. So I followed the same blueprint, where I said, oh, I'm going to film the same exact thing and it's going to be just as successful as his. So that's where I think it's really coming from.
What do you think made him so successful? Do you think it's his uniqueness, his charismaticness, the way he's able to talk to a camera?
I think his personality helped a ton with it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's true or not, but like someone told me he like blew up within his first few videos. Yeah,
he definitely grew faster than a lot of other YouTubers I saw. And I do think it was because of his personality, where every single video, like I would watch everyone no matter what he was talking about. I wasn't even editing on Premiere Pro at the time, and I watched it.
Right.
Well, I'm still not editing on Premiere Pro, but I watched every single video just because of the jokes he would make while he was teaching and his personality and all of it. He would do magic tricks at the beginning of his videos. So it was just his personality and his, what do the kids say now? His aura. It was his aura.
Yeah. I've been saying that.
Yeah.
I saw this aura. I saw the aura 20 videos before this or something like that, or I sensed it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was a lot of his personality, but again, he was obviously good at teaching as well. So I think it's a combo of both. Right. And if you can have both, even better. But again, find that unique thing that you can do. And, Tyler and I have put down our recipe for success. Do your unique thing and be consistent with it, because you can be unique. If he would have done one speed tour, it probably would have blown up. But now that he's done 15, 20, 50, 100 speed tours, that's when you really start to gain a following and see some success with it. So the consistency is super important.
It's ironic you say that, because I'd probably be worldwide famous if I was consistent with my marketing podcast. Don't want to brag or anything.
I'm serious. Good if case studies.
Consistency is huge. Yeah, it definitely is.
And it's the hardest trait for people to have, I think.
Yeah.
For me,
it's
for
not
sure.
the plan. It's not the plan. It's like just sticking with it. Sticking with the plan is the hardest part, because it's like losing weight's easy. Like eat healthy, work out, and be consistent. Consistency is the hard part. Like the plan is not hard. It's sticking to the plan is the hard part. And that's what I failed to do. Even like after 10 episodes of me doing the podcast, like I was getting random views and like people were finding the podcast, and I don't know where I would be right now if I stuck with it, but I'd probably be a little bit better off than where I'm currently at.
More time in the day. That's what we need. That's what all of us need. But yeah, most things have a blueprint. Most things have a road path and a blueprint of hey, here's how you can be successful. But consistency is the big thing that is involved in a lot of those blueprints, and it's the hardest thing to actually be successful with.
I believe everyone wants the quick win right now. It's like, I want, like, you'll see all the advertisements like get rich overnight or get rich quick or get like, it's now. It's like people don't want to have to wait 5, 10, 15 years for that to actually happen. They want it within a year.
Don't be a trend follower. That's Too many people are following. Let's try drop shipping so I can get overnight. Be a trendsetter, man. Don't be a trend follower. Be a trendsetter.
Call me out on that.
Well, I call myself out too. I used to drop ship.
We tried.
Yeah. It's not real,
Very
guys. Don't
inconsistently.
drop ship.
Very inconsistent. What's the new trend now? It's definitely not drop shipping. I feel like
Courses.
everyone pivoted away from that. Yeah, courses is huge right now.
Courses.
We should get into that.
Courses and masterminds. My 6-week mastermind, I only have 10 spots. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you do, man. Yeah. And then when
We're
those 10 are
fast.
filled, then there's going to be another 10. I just reopened it this one time. Yeah, sure. You said that last week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then when I was looking through, so basically last thing, when I was looking through the quotes, I was just seeing a lot of different stuff about being unique, being authentic, being you. And I think a lot of people are worried about what other people will think of them. And honestly, it doesn't matter what they'll think, because like they try to blend in with other people and they try to be like the norm or blend in. And like, that's the issue. It's like, you're not trying to be unique. You're trying to like blend in and be like everyone else. You got to be kind of yourself and not care what other people think. And like, whatever that is, like for me, I wasn't really comfortable wearing like the lab coat, but I thought it was unique and I thought it was different and I thought it was on brand. So I think you just got to like try and be unique, be yourself, and that's how you're going to stand out. Whereas like if you're trying to be like everyone else and trying to worry about what other people are going to think, that's kind of where you fall through the cracks and it doesn't end up going to plan.
Don't worry about what other people think, because if you're worried and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this the safe way so people don't think anything crazy, well, then you're going to be just like everybody else. You're going to be normal. You're going to fit into the crowd, like Tyler said. You're not really going to stand out. But if you could do something like wear a lab coat, or if you're doing a podcast on sports, okay, wear a sports jersey every single episode, whatever that is, do something to stand out and make it unique, even if people judge you, because most of the times if people are judging you or you're worried about what people think, they don't
right.
tell you. They don't, most of the time it's behind your back and you won't hear it. Sometimes you'll get some cool comments, but other than that, you should be good to go.
I think if you're getting those, I don't know if you want to call it hateful, but like those types of comments, I think you're doing something right. Because I know the one we talk a little bit about it, the day in the life of a small business owner who drinks coffee for a living or makes coffee for a living. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about yet.
Oh yeah,
she gets lots of hate and she just stays consistent with it. And I sent you one. I'm like, hey, give it to her. She's consistent every single fucking day.
She is, and she gets consistent.
I think it's paying off.
Oh, 100%. I guarantee she's making more money than we are. So
she gets consistent.
She's meeting more. Yeah. She's getting more celebrity friends than I have. She was working out with Tom
Yeah, for
Segura,
sure.
and I have a Tom Segura
Was she?
T-shirt. So what's the difference there?
That's hilarious. I feel like, oh man, I don't want to hate, but I feel like she adds in the going to the gym and working out stuff because she knows people hate on her for that. Because it's like, are you even doing anything at the gym? Because there's like no progress or anything like that. And I feel like that is, but I don't know. Maybe she does actually spend a solid 30 minutes working out.
Who knows? If she wanted us to be on a video, I'd say yes so fast. Free clout chasing.
Try out her coffee.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh
probably
man,
not
even
horrible.
so, I think she's a great example of being unique because she takes all the hate and everything like that, and she turns it into her coffee brand. It's like hate from Australia, and then like that's the name of her coffee. And it's like so unique. Like you don't see that. So I think she's doing something really good with the adversity that she's going through.
She's definitely playing into it. The funniest comment ever
Right.
was sending hate from Australia with a heart. And I was laughing so hard. It was the best comment ever. But yeah, be unique. That's moral of the story. Tyler, anything else you want to add there?
Ignore all the positive comments.
Yeah. Find the negative and feed on it. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Give us our business idea before my ear falls off my head. It's hurting so bad.
So this one, I don't know how it's going to work, but splash damage. I thought of this right before I went to the bathroom, before we started recording, but like, you know how you always get like those random drops that like splash out and like it's on the rim or whatever. And it's like, what if there was like, I don't know. I was like trying to think about it. It's like, what if there's just like a cone you piss in, or maybe it's like a sponge at the bottom of the thing. So it eliminates all the splashing up or something like that. Just like, or there's like a funnel or something. I don't know how it works. Yeah. A vacuum.
Imagine you pissed into a vacuum and it sucks it in while you're
and it
peeing
just
into
sucks.
it. That would be awesome.
What if it's just like a constant stream downwards where it's like when you you flush and it's like constantly going and it just doesn't stop until you like stop it or like you stop pissing or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the issue is the contact when the piss hits the object, whether it be the side of a bowl or the water. I do like that though. Maybe it's like a mat that when you stand on it to pee, the water starts going down.
Yeah. I like that.
Or
Maybe.
or just like a rail that's like 4 feet behind, so you have to launch it.
Well, it's more so to keep the toilet clean. So it's like,
Oh, it's not to keep
it's
like
not
the flakes
to like,
on you.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Well, at the same time, it would help prevent that at the same time.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, standing 4 feet back, you're just getting pissed everywhere.
Yeah. It'd be all over the floor. But yeah, I mean, if you're going your route where it's more so toilet safety and not human safety, I'd say the mat that you stand on and then it goes as you're standing on it would be super cool.
Yeah. Maybe there's like a little door thing that you like step on as opposed to like a mat, because like either way you'd be stepping on the mat.
Yeah. I like it. Because, yeah, I've seen that issue before. You piss and then it's everywhere.
Yeah. And then you got to clean it up and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Or you just leave it and it gets stained.
Is it a public bathroom? I leave it. So they pay people to do that stuff.
Well, there's urinals for that, so.
Yeah, it's true. All right.
Maybe it's just get a urinal in your house.
I've thought about it, actually. Putting one in my garage, my dad's garage. We play poker out there. Be kind of
That'd
cool.
be sweet.
But
Get like a stall. That would be cool. Like in like a man cave.
there we go. Add it to next week's business idea. All right, I'm cutting this podcast. My ear is hurting me so goddamn bad, and that's enough piss talk for one day. Tyler, anything else? No. All right. That's episode 93. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I promise you I will have a mic stand because I don't know if I really love this. For you listening, I was holding my mic the whole time. Not my favorite thing ever, but we got through it. Episode 93, 7 more to 100. Super exciting. I am Easton Bennett, one of your hosts. Tyler, thank you for hopping on the podcast. If you guys like the show, send it to a friend, share it on your story, download it, save it, do whatever you got to. We appreciate each and every single one of you guys listening and watching, and we will see you guys next week for episode 94.
Always remember that you are absolutely unique, just like everyone else. Margaret Mead.